You know the deal. You send me your saves. I save them. Everybody lives happily ever after. So let's get started, shall we? First up, we have Matt. This is very detailed. Let me get this type of analysis here. Now, Matt is managing ADO Den Haag. I finished second or third 4 years running to either PSV, Feyenoord, or Ajax. I don't know if it's my tactics screwing me over, my player quality. I'm always eking about spending about 25 plus, but I'm willing to do it. I have no idea what that means. I just don't know where to search. Also, I want to know if I'm underselling some of my players, like Ivan Hoyos, Pim de Zwart, Dejan Svetijasin, and what players are going to be part of the team in the next step to the Champions League glory and which ones I can sell. So he's stuck. There is nothing worse in Football Manager than being stuck. Also, you lied to me. It's only the last 3 years. You finished second, and third, and we had 3 different winners, Feyenoord, Ajax, and PSV. So you just can't seem to get yourself over that hump. First thing I'm going to go look at is the team report and kind of look at the comparison of your team with like every other team in the league. And what we're seeing right here is that this is a pretty solid distribution, right? We're seeing that your team has generally better quality than the teams that they're going up against on average. One of the best teams in the league is what this would tell me right off the top, right? The mental side's looking good. The technical side, you got an advantage in almost every area. Now, your marking and positioning is a very noticeable weakness that's come up in your team. It comes up in the mental side. Obviously, it's coming up in the defensive side. Your inability to do those sorts of things is a problem, like follow players. But everything else is looking pretty fine. So let's check out, let's say your 1 or 2 key players, because you had a question about, well, the quality of the team, right? We have 5-star players, which I don't think I've ever had in my life. Let's look at Gavrila. Good player, very fun ball-carrying midfielder. The issue is that he's not a great player. I don't see why he would be a great player. He doesn't have the ability to move particularly well, which makes that dribbling ability a little less useful. I mean, he's got incredible control of the ball and he's a really good passer. He's like really good, but he's not a world star. I don't know if he's a star player. Ertan Şelen, 20-year-old Turkish fullback. Again, good, not great. Very capable, solid player. Could probably play a lot of different positions, to be honest. Then your center back, David Joel Moreno. 71 caps for Mexico. They could have used him in that Nations League semifinal. Am I right, guys? Okay. Honestly, they probably did, because this guy's pretty good. He's just, but he's not fantastic. And he is at the level he's going to be at for the rest of his career. I can understand why you haven't won the league looking at this. Like, we look at Kieran York. Obviously, he's a world star for the Welsh team. A lot of fun. You can win the league with this guy, but you don't have any of those players that are like, right? Like, these guys would fit in on my Oriental Dragon team, which is kind of at the same level you are, second or third in a second tier league in Europe, right? Behind those real Champions League contender type players. How about another important player? We got this guy. This guy's really good. That athleticism, that stamina and work rate, this dude is a problem. He is not terrible defensively. You're one of 3 things as a fullback. You're very good at defense, you're very good at offense, or you're very athletic. This dude checks the very athletic box. You can live with that. You can win the league with that. Like Mario Hernandez, this dude's good, but not great. Who are the players that I was supposed to be looking at? Ivan Hoyos, Pim de Zwart, Dejan Kvedijan. I'm underselling some of my players. Oh, you're talking about players you already sold. Pim de Zwart for 44.5 million. I mean, maybe 60 to 70 million, but 44.5 is not a bad deal for this guy. He is who he is. He's an out-and-out winger, and if that's not fitting into your team exactly what you want to do, I have no problem with that sale. Ivan Hoyos for 45 million. Look, you got guys that are basically this good on your team already, so I think you're doing great deals to build up your coffers, which are probably just I mean, yeah, you get turned to 24 million in the bank. You need to take the next step now, though, because let's take a look at this team. I know this sounds stupid, right? But I feel like this just isn't good enough. You have $224 million. You need to be, I mean, like, on top of the vacuum, like, I'm talking about walking around and vacuuming up every amazing young player that exists in the world. Because, again, you have $224 million. You need to turn on the vacuum. You've done everything right up to this point. gotta go farther. Seriously, you've got all the money in the world. Start vacuuming people up. That's what you need. Like, yeah, the quality in your team is fine. You could win the league, but you have the money to make sure that you guarantee you win the league. I'm gonna be really disappointed at these assignments. Okay. We do not have a lot of scouts. Ask for more scouts. There's no way at a club with $224 million in the balance that you shouldn't have double-digit scouts. Ask for more scouts. Ask for more scouts. Send them to every place I talk about in my scouting videos and vacuum up good players. Even the FM gods agree, or my noisy upstairs neighbors. Your tactic is fine. It's a little weird to have this many instructions on like a lower tempo. I'm focusing the play down the wing sort of thing. You can, with the better your teams get, the more instructions you have on, the more you have to make sure they're right, because the higher their teamwork and intelligence, right, the more they're going to listen to you. So you have to make sure that you're getting the most out of your team with this. I would say if this is the main tactic you're using, though, raise the lines. The better you are as a team, the more you should raise your lines. Football Manager's pretty simple that way. You need to get your lines farther forward. You're not creating enough pressure on them. You're inviting too much pressure on yourself, and that's probably making it difficult to consistently beat everybody the way that you're hoping to. Hello. I also stream on Twitch. Check it out in the description. Even if you can't, there's a live channel where you can watch episodes from each of the Football Manager streams to keep up with the save. Those are both in the description. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Next! What do I have here? Who's next? Tay Rosens. First season in the Prem after unexpected promotion with Plymouth. Just started to struggle after injuries. Should I be worried, or are results just starting to even out? More likely than not, results are just starting to even out, but I appreciate your optimism, my guy. I appreciate your optimism. So we are Plymouth. We are in 14th in the league. So results are just starting to even out. Well, let's take a look at, well... Your defense is so bad. You've given up 12 goals in the last 4 games. You've given up at least 3 goals in like 5 of your last 7. That's hard to survive. That's really hard to survive. Oof. Let's see if that's like a trend for the entire season. Yeah, I mean, you're tied for the most goals allowed in the entire league. So your goal difference is minus 21. When you lose hard. You get the 3rd worst goal difference in the league. I would say you're really, really overplaying how good your team is. That would be my guess. Based off that goal difference, like you're just kind of maximizing your level. Now, some people would look at this and be like, this is absolutely terrible. Now, your physical and mental side of the game is really spectacularly bad, but technically you can kind of hang. It is a victory for your team in this instance to stay out of the relegation zone. So just be happy with that. Compete and understand. Oof, I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I mean, this is the kind of creativity that could give you some chances going forward, also get you exposed. But the 5 at the back can be difficult. These people could get into wide spaces. If you're really playing a good team, I would even consider doing this and putting both these guys in attack, so that they're really working hard, but they are starting from a deeper position, and you don't allow those kind of diagonal runs out from attacking midfielders into the wide spaces that can stretch and create channels, because they can end up getting behind your fullbacks if they're kind of breaking. Then that's an issue. And with your lack of athleticism, it's a serious problem. I would definitely classify this promotion as unexpected. I'm gonna tell you right now, you are going to have a fight down to the end of the season, because your team, the level that I'm seeing from the guys that are classed as like important players on your team, they're just not good enough, generally speaking, to be at this level. Your spending is well below everybody else in the league. The results are just starting to even out. You've done good work with loans to try and raise the level of your team, so you've followed a lot of the right protocols. I have no huge issue with your tactic, other than the fact that you're trying to play much shorter passing. I don't know if your team is smart enough to do that. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I don't think your team is smart enough to do that. I might try and turn this, especially with the numbers that you are holding high, I might try and turn this into a very direct play style. Not very direct, more direct than you're doing. Get it up to this front 3 and try and work out of that space, because teams playing against you are just going to be meow, meow, and you'll be able to get behind them with these numbers and give some guys some opportunities to score. We have the technical ability through the team, it would seem, to be able to play at a possession level, but I don't believe that you have the intelligence through the center of the park. Like this guy is not going to be able to receive and distribute the ball under pressure in the Premier League. He's not. He has 8 first touch. 8. You might want to skip the midfield, use those guys as, you know, hard-nosed players. Try and use Michael Olise, who's certainly capable of carrying the ball and making a play, maybe making a pass. He's creative. Get him involved in these couple of attacking players and you'll be better. It's definitely leveling out. Next, we have Aiden Broderick with Hansa Rostock. Been consistently improving in the Bundesliga, but I've stagnated in 6th place after finishing around the same spot last year. I'm trying to get back to the next level, but can't seem to match Dortmund, Bayern, Hertha, and Leverkusen. I need tactic help because I have some talented attackers that have not been getting too many scoring chances in the 4-2-3-1 tactic, bounces between positive and attacking, so classic 4-2-3-1. Depending on our opponents, then I use the other one for tougher home matches or most of my away games. I also really struggle with getting good performances out of my wingbacks. You're definitely not the only person that struggled with that. We have Rostock that is 6th in the league. I see the steady improvement. Well, you got up to 8th, 7th, and then 5th last season, and now we're down in 6th again. So again, look at the team report, get an idea of how good the team is relative to everybody else. I would say an above average team in the league. We're spending a lot of time in the positive part of that graph. Team building, your team's definitely young, but it doesn't seem to have that super high potential. Let's look at your stars. Kehinde Arimu. I'm gonna hope that's just some sort of lie. But yeah, this guy's a lot better. Tommy Doyle, Aiden Kartsev. Yusuf Yazici's a fantastic player. He's probably the best player on your team. I hate to break it to you though, man. I just don't see a team here that is good enough, I think, to win the Bundesliga. I mean, I just don't. Like, I like Namdi Collins, I like Yusuf Yazici, but like Kehinde Arimu is not right. I don't know why he's on star player for you. I see he doesn't play most matches, so maybe that's just not the thing. Tomislav Skoric, this guy's good. This guy's really good. He's really athletic. He's got really good defensive chops, and he's not a liability offensively. That's a really good player. I just don't think you have enough of those dudes. I feel like you got your team up to a level where you're able to make these plays, but my Oriental Dragon team would have a shout at beating you, and we're not winning Liga NOS. So I think this is less of on the tactics side for you, because there's nothing wrong with a 4-3-3, right? Like, everybody loves a good 4-3-3. Everybody loves a good 4-2-3-1. You're also a connoisseur of few instructions, which I can get behind. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this tactic. Maybe if you're trying to be able to beat worse teams, you want to get a little more attacking than you already are, but the Metsala filling space next to a winger, maybe the wingback and winger kind of end up running into each other a little bit too much. You want to do like a wingback on defense, they're crossing from deep and they don't involve themselves to the day. But there's no major issues, right, with your tactics. I think this comes down to the quality of the players. The quality of the players that you have on your team. And however you want to rectify that, you can. It looks like you've got an interesting approach to scouting here. You're looking for a current ability. Age is at most 28 in England and Germany. Why? We've got England and Belgium, right? We have Spain and France, Argentina and Uruguay. The previous assignments were the exact same things, which means you're not like rotating them between different locations, right? Okay, Brazil and Colombia, here we go. You're looking for a squad player. Scouted potential ability is good. Age is at most 22. Okay, we need that more places, right? This is a start. We need more. And you're not even signing a lot of these guys. I mean, let's just take a look at like who you're being recommended. You've got Rolasinia. You got no real reports on these guys. None of these guys have been... We haven't gotten a follow-up on any of these guys, right? They're not currently being scouted. Like, you just need to step up your scouting game. You need to improve your players. That's it. Get start scouting these guys. Get a follow-up. Figure out exactly how good they are. Most of these guys are probably going to be like a 70 overall recommendation, but one of those guys could be like an 85 rec. And you've got Bundesliga money. You go buy them. That's it. And you need this type of scouting in more places. There's nothing wrong with scouting for first-team players, but when you are only working with 8 scouts, most of those scouts should be looking for talented young players that can help take your team to the next level. Because I think maybe you could definitely get into a Champions League spot with the quality you have on your team, and you just need a little maturity and right game time decisions. But I don't think you have a league winning team here right now. And I don't think you have a league winning team in the future. Even as this team matures, it'll be difficult to say that you'll be walking the league anytime soon. You're stagnating because your players are stagnating. Next! Phantoms in the night. Scary. Mommy. We have Phantoms in the Night who says, I make big sales, but I have no idea where it's going at Dynamo Zagreb. I get a very small cut of transfer revenue, so no player wants to join us. So these things are they're mutually exclusive. Whatever you're talking about doesn't it's not relevant. So your lack of transfer revenue retention is not the reason that players don't want to join you. You had an original transfer budget of 72.56 million. Your balance is 51 million. Your original transfer budget has already just like disappeared. Look, for somebody that doesn't know where to spend their money, you've spent $72 million at Dynamo Zagreb, right? Like, you don't know where to spend your money. Is the issue in the Champions League, right? Or you ended up in the Europa League? And let's check out Champions League. You have to be here. No club in the world should spend $72 million on players and not be in the group stage. How did you not get fired? You just got here. You just started in 2024. Okay, so you just here for this season doing a good job. Look, you spent $72 million. Either, like, look, have patience or spend the money somewhere else, because you got plenty of money in the balance. Right? Obviously, you're making sales. Dude, you're fine. You're fine. The results aren't going to come right away. Be patient. Chill. It'll be all right. You've got a wall of top potential players. Even if your guy's ability is 1, most of these guys are going to be 5-star potential players. They're never wrong that often. You are fine. You have spent all of your money, and you've spent it in the place that you needed to spend it. You'll get there. Next! Uriel. I already did a stupid transfer. However, that's not the real point. The major emergencies are I'm struggling at youth intakes even when I have the best facilities, country, and staff. You're at Flamengo in Brazil. Well, my tactics seems with too defensive weakness. I'm insecure about loan development some of my players, like Kevin Benitez, Adamar, and Fabio, Climus Lucas, and Leonardo Andre. I don't know where they could, they do have better potential. I'm struggling at scouting assignments too. Finances is not a problem at all after huge sales, but I need to keep my longevity of dominance in the league. This is interesting. I've never really sunk my teeth into a Brazilian save. So unfortunately, Uriel, we could not get your game to open, but we're gonna shoot from the hip with like 30 seconds of advice based off what we know. If your tactic feels too defensive, start by raising your lines. If your lines already raised too much, increase the attacking mentality of individual players in your team, or start most games on attacking if you're already good enough. If you have players on your team that are not getting playing time by the time they turn 19, start loaning them out. If they're 18 and they're not developing well, you can loan them out in January. Be careful. They don't do well on one loan, they're not likely to do well on another if it wasn't injury caused, because adaptability is an attribute that you can't see when a player is on your team. And so you have to judge how they do out on loan. If they're not doing well on loan, try and work them into cup matches, or loan them out domestically so that they don't have to do as much adapting. You're struggling for youth intakes, even though you have the best facilities, country, and staff. Make sure your head of youth development is very good. Good judging player ability, good judging player potential. Player ability is secondary, and also has a good personality. You're going to struggle, though. I mean, Brazil has a lot of clubs that are capable of producing good regens, so you're competing with a lot of clubs, but you're also in Brazil, so chill. It'll be okay. But youth intakes are always 51% luck. That'll be fine. Scouting assignments, I've got multiple videos on that. Check those out. Just save to save without even opening it. And shoot, finances aren't a problem. You don't even need a good youth intake. Just go find the other ones in Brazil and the rest of South America and just vacuum them into Flamengo. You'll be the best team ever in no time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on stream. Keep it easy, breezy, and beautiful. Wonder when CoverGirl is going to try and sue me for that.